Hey, weirdos!
Hey, weirdos!
Gosh, tonight we have space bugs,
sewer monsters,
alien skulls,
all that and more coming up right now on What the Fetch Weekly.
Woo!
Hey guys!
Oh my gosh, weirdos! Welcome to What the Fetch Weekly, the internet weird news show that is not eating romaine lettuce this week.
Nope.
No. Seriously, the CDC has said that they found E. coli. No big deal, just E. coli on a lot of the romaine lettuce coming from central coastal regions in northern and central California. So we even went to our local grocery store, like, let's make a salad. And we go there, no romaine lettuce.
They didn't even have romaine. But didn't this happen like a few months ago too?
This has happened in the past, yeah.
Yeah, it seems like something, maybe just don't eat romaine anymore. I don't know.
I don't know.
Never know.
I just like to, get a big bowl of E. coli up,
Ooh.
go to town.
Yeah.
Sit
on the toilet for a while.
So last week was Thanksgiving. We had a pre-recorded show last week. Thank you guys for checking it out.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we ate hard. 20-pound turkey, in-laws in town. We had Noah up from college.
My mom made tons of pies, which were absolutely delicious and super gluten. Like, we don't care on Thanksgiving. We just go for it. And
oh my gosh,
we felt
I paid the price.
It tasted so good, but we felt it.
It was like the Nightmare King all over again. But it tasted good.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, this week we got some sad news. If you got a glass, raise it. A toast in honor of the great Stephen Hillenburg.
Yes.
Lovely... The marine biologist teacher, turned producer of SpongeBob SquarePants. He said he started that show because of his love for marine biology. And unfortunately, he died at the ripe young age of 57.
So young.
Of
so
amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, which is what, Rihanna?
So basically, that is where just the body the muscles and all that kind of retract and the neurons aren't firing and it all just kind of disintegrates. The brain doesn't work and you get to a point where you can't swallow, you can't eat, you can't breathe.
And it just takes you over.
And it just, it takes over.
He was a 9-time Emmy nominee, although he never won one. But.
Oh.
And may I propose another toast, raise your glass, to Conrad Hawes, Jason's dad, who passed away this week, too.
Yes.
And he was suffering from multiple sclerosis and cancer and all sorts of stuff.
For a long time, too.
Send all your good vibes to the Hawes family.
Yeah.
It was rough. Okay.
All
right. Enough of the sad, on to the good. Guys, events coming up. February 16th. I'll be at the Old Exchange in Charleston, South Carolina with Carol Cleveland and Chad Lindberg. You can check that and other events out at centerstageevents.com. March 8th through 11th, I'll be at the Queen Mary. Rihanna may be there too. In Long Beach, California, we'll have Amy, Adam, Chip Coffey, John Tenney, the Newkirks, and Ben Hansen.
Awesome group.
April 5th through 6th, Salem Con. Rihanna will be there. I
Yes.
know. Some of you guys will be there. That's in Salem, Mass. John Zaffis, Chad Lindberg, Ken Boggle, and more. That's mghparanormal.com. And the Queen Mary, you can go to strange-escapes.com. All right. Okay.
All right.
Woo! Got that out of the way. So, I'm putting on the glasses. You are already.
Oh, I have them on already.
It's time for news.
Let's do it. So just as an update, guys, if you remember a little while ago, we talked about the AFM, the acute flaccid myelitis disease.
It's been polio-like disease.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So just a quick update. The CDC is launching a task force to find the causes, just to kind of get into it more deeply.
To try to figure what this thing out.
Exactly. Yeah. So they've launched that task force. They're going to be joining doctors and all around the U.S. to try to figure out what the cause is and to try to make the treatment better and improve all the outcomes and all that. So
that's good news. All right. So, several people have been affected by this, and no one knows what it is. So it's nice to hear the CDC saying, like, obviously they take it seriously, but they're putting it in action.
Right. And I mean, the cases spike every other year. So just be aware of it. Things you want to look for again, droopy eyes, difficulty swallowing, slurred speech, cough, fever, weak limbs, all that kind of stuff. If your kids or even adults can get it, usually kids around the age of 7, I think, get it. But if you have those signs, make sure you get into a doctor soon.
Good call. I'm reading some of the comments. They're talking about Chad Lindbergh. Chad's a good friend of ours. He's an actor. He's been in Fast and Furious, Supernatural, X-Files, all sorts of stuff. He's just a good guy. I mean, he really is. But when it comes to paranormal, he takes it very personally. Like, he's an interesting investigator. If you get a chance to investigate with him, do it. It's always a good time. And they're asking, is Jack asleep again or just well trained? That's about as fast as Jack goes.
That's what he does. If I sit down, he's on my lap. So if he gets too hot, he'll jump off. But typically, he's wherever I am. Sometimes he'll be sleeping right next to me in bed. So we
just forgot to wind him with the key today.
He's just a snuggle dog. See?
All right, so Connor, drop some of that good footage of this wonderful. So this week, guys, clearly the Mars InSight landed on November 26, 2018 at 2:52 and 59 seconds p.m. Eastern Time. That sucker landed on Mars, which is always a feat for me. Just leave it up there for a minute, Connor. This thing, now we've sent a lot of probes and rovers to Mars. They go and they run around, they pick up rocks and all this stuff, right? Mm-hmm. This one is a new system. This is designed not to just look at the surface of Mars, but to probe beneath it, to find out what makes Mars tick. It's got a seismometer, which is that little thing on the left over there, mm-hmm. Which measures seismic waves via Mars quakes. They don't call them earthquakes because it's Mars.
It's Mars.
Yeah. And to the right, you see the heat flow and physical properties probe. So that little thing on the right is hammering down a probe about 5 meters deep or 15 feet to take the temperature of Mars and kind of see what's going on under the surface. Because we see Mars and it's red and beautiful, and even from Earth it's red. But even just a few inches or an inch under the soil, it's not anymore. So we got to figure out what's going on with this thing. Then they also have a rotation and interior structure experiment, which measures small variations in the wobble of Mars's poles to help understand the structure and composition of its core. What do you think about that?
I think that's great.
Now, this is the first probe, this first thing to go and actually lift stuff off of itself. Everything else just kind of had arms and stuff. Mm-hmm. This has an arm on top that took the seismometer and put it down on the ground.
Was that the little spaceship looking thing? That's hilarious. Let's have a little spaceship there so that if there is... What was that?
If there's what?
If there are aliens on there, be like, "Hi guys."
It's small. It's a seismometer. It has to be separate from the device so it doesn't pick up the vibrations of the device.
Yeah, I know.
And then they put that little cover over it so it's not affected by all the stuff. It's a cake. It's a Martian cake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Happy
not
birthday.
Weird. If the Martians came, they can say, "I knew you were coming, so I baked a cake."
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So no worries.
There you go.
So it lifts all these different instruments off, which is cool. It's a unique thing.
Yeah.
And so William Bruce Bannert, who is the principal investigator of the InSight program, said, InSight is a mission to Mars, but it's more than just a Mars mission. It's, in some sense, it's like a time machine. It's measuring the structure of Mars that was put in place 4.5 billion years ago. So they're not just trying to see what's on the surface. They're really trying to figure out what makes this planet tick. Which is cool, but it's like... Mars, yeah, cool. But all the time in the news, it's Mars, 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 Mars. What about Venus? Like, I think, to me, maybe we keep going to Mars because we've done it, we know how to do it. And it's a little bit like Frodo seeing Gollum to me, I think. We look at Mars and we see our potential future of our planet. You know, Mars used to have an atmosphere and water and all this stuff, and now it doesn't. So if we learned what happened there, maybe we'll feel more secure about what happened here. But I say send probes to some of these other places, like the moon of Saturn, Enceladus, right? It's covered in ice. They know there's water there. It's injecting, it's got water under there. There could be a whole bunch of animals under there. Maybe not intelligent like us, but there could be life there. Or on Titan, which has a dense atmosphere and liquid, Let's go. Send this stuff there. I mean, obviously, they've got different people paying the bills. I mean, it's NASA, so it should be us, but we should have a say in what they do. I say go find life where life should be. I don't really think there's going to be too much on Mars.
It kind of makes you wonder if there's because there's so much Mars, if they're trying to just kind of distract us. Like, look over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The real life is over here, but we don't want you to see it yet.
Yeah.
Go look at Mars.
We're going to do this so we can prove to you that there's not life as we think, as you think out there.
And Samantha Bamantha says, Venus is hot. Yes, it's very hot. But they speculate that up in the cloud layers, up in the upper atmosphere, there could be microbial life living up there. And honestly, hot schmott. I mean, we grew up and evolved on this planet, so we can only handle these temperatures. Mm-hmm. So that's the problem with science, is they can only go on what they know. They have no idea what other forms of life there are. Non-carbon based, non-air breathing. Right. We don't know. So I just say, think outside the box a little. If you're looking for life like on Earth, why are we at Mars? That's not really what they're doing. I think they're trying to figure out to keep us from, our own planet from dying out. Yeah. Which we're doing a pretty good job of killing it right now. So there you go, Ree. What's up?
All right. So this I thought was a funny story. That if any of you guys have kids out there, how many of you guys, as kids or have your kids, eaten toys?
What? Eaten toys?
Eaten toys. Or I remember going to the ER when I was really, really young because one of my brothers had stuffed, I think it was a raisin up his nose and he couldn't get it out. What? As kids, things happen. You do these crazy things. So some pediatric researchers decided they wanted to find out some of the most common things that kids would eat and how it would affect the system. So we know back in the day, in the 70s, they did the test with coins, like how it would affect the system and how long it would take to poop it out. So it would take about 3 to 6 days for a coin to pass through the system and kids would be fine. So
can you eat a quarter and then poop out 2 dimes and a nickel? That would be a trick.
that would be talented. So I'm like, so these guys, there were 6 researchers, 3 men and 3 women. Okay. Connor, you put a little fun sign up there so you can see this. All right. They decided to swallow Lego heads. Oh, no. Because Lego heads, most people have Legos and they're small bits and they look tasty. So why not? So these guys decided to swallow these.
What makes you say they look tasty?
Well, they're all colorful. Like, they have sprinkles on them and stuff. I don't know.
Sprinkles?
Legos are you playing with? Colors. Anyway. So they based their test on 2 different things. The first one was they were recording bathroom info on the frequency and looseness based on the stool hardness and transit test. Or
what's the transit test?
Or SHAT.
Is that the science word for?
That's the test. Stool hardness and transit test.
I can't read that.
Okay.
What'd she say? Oh, okay.
Gotta push it out.
Go ahead.
Adjustments. Okay, so the SHAT test. And then after swallowing, so they're testing like the looseness of their stool, how it affected, the frequency, how often they went, and all that. And then...
Are they checking their own
all
stool?
these days, yes.
Where's the control in that?
They had, put on the gloves, hopefully, sifting through their stuff to find these
Great. Gwendolyn's
toys.
going to get a whole bowl of Legos, not popcorn. Oh, what are we doing? Do not try this at home.
So they have the SHAT test, and the second test was the found and retrieve time, or FART.
Oh, okay. Is this real science?
This is real. This is a real thing, okay? That's the number of days that it takes before they actually found it. So, of the 6 people, 5 of them found the heads. 1 never found it.
It's in his kidney somewhere.
Who knows? But it took anywhere from 1.14 to 3.04 days, on average 41 hours, for the toys to come out. So
do certain toys take longer than others?
It depends on the person.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I imagine. It's not the toy. Your body's like, I can't do anything with this.
So the SHAT and the FART scores will vary depending on the person. But they
My FART scores are always pretty high.
Agreed. But they, at the end, they did recommend that parents do not go sifting through their children's poop to make sure that stuff comes out. Just know it will come out within, a couple of days.
Do we really have to put these warnings out there? I'm just saying. Take all the warning labels off and see who survives. That's all.
There we go. All right, what have you got?
Oh my gosh, jeez. I like this. Kenny Edwards stories like this make me feel less weird. Oh, okay. All right, so this story is interesting. We got this gentleman from China. This guy here.
China again.
China's always going crazy. This is Li Jianmin, who is a sci-fi author and self-proclaimed UFO scholar and amateur researcher. He's 55 years old, and he announced at a seminar in Beijing that he had found an alien skull.
Whoa.
Look at that. That might be more related to your last story than an alien skull.
The brain imprint there.
So you see this brown thing here. This is 16 centimeters in diameter, 6.3 inches, and brown. And you can see, leave that up there for a minute. He claims it's alien because of this distinct 2 layers. You can see this bottom part and all these pieces going up, and then the top part. And the top part, you can see what looks like a brain would have fit in there. You know what I mean? It kind of looks like a resting place for a brain. Yeah. Now, he obtained this from a private collector who was reading a book by Mr. Lee, and he saw an illustration that Lee had put in that book that resembled the skull he bought from a street vendor in Mongolia. Now, Lee, once he had this, produced a 103-page study of it over the span of 4 months. Wow. To try to confirm its origins. He used Raman spectroscopy, not ramen like the noodles, Raman, which provides a structural fingerprint by which molecules can be identified. And then he used atomic force microscopy, which is 1,000 times better than your typical optical.
Okay.
Yeah, so he really tried to get to it. He tried to compare it to other alien skulls that are out there, but he needs to find further. He needs funds to further his tests. He wants to do a DNA test, which costs like $14,000. And
$14,000.
Yeah, to do DNA tests on this thing.
Because there's no spit involved. Those tests are like less than $200.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. It's a good call.
I'm just saying. I don't know.
We're getting a heck of a deal on Ancestry.com with spitting in a tube. Okay, so put up the next picture. Here's a regular human skull, okay? You can see the top and the bottom. And Connor, if you could put up the original picture of the skull, like compare that to this. So I think we're looking at the top of the skull. Laying on the top of the head. So if you were to flip this over, that's how it would sit on top of someone.
I see that.
It looks a lot like the Rhodope Skull, which is this one here. Nope. Yep. This one is the Rhodope Skull. Now this was found in the mountains of Bulgaria.
Looks like a dinosaur.
Yeah, and this one looks much more like a skull. But you see how it has the head and then it's got this plate on top?
Right.
So I wonder what this is, if it's a skull at all. Is this some kind of vertebrae or whatever? But this one, you flip it over and you can see the brain cavity and stuff like that. There just seems to be no lower jaw on it. So,
it would also be interesting if it was some sort of like something from like an ocean years ago, you know, like that was a leaf imprinted in it or something, and like corally kind of thing.
So here's the thing, though. Lee's pretty convinced it's a skull.
Okay. Of
alien origin, and obviously there've been a lot of deformed skulls that have been found over the years of, you know, babies with deformities and stuff, like a big head, the Star Child skull.
Yep.
And you know, a lot of those are just deformities, but this one's very different, and it looks very different. But he's convinced, but he says, hey, look, if you believe me, support me. Let's get a DNA test going. If you don't believe me, come and challenge me, but bring proof. Don't just whine at me. So he
seems pretty confident.
So I'm okay. So I'm okay with that. Yeah. So you guys be the judge. Skull, lava rock, piece of alien candy, chocolate. What I
like about that is that he's not like, this is what it is.
Well, he kind of is, but he's open to...
Right. He's open to being told that, no, it's not because of XYZ, you know?
Yes.
Which is cool.
So that's out there. There was so much news this week, guys.
There was a ton.
We have like 8 stories, but we're going to move through them quick. But we had tons of stuff. So bear with us.
All right, you good?
Yes.
Okay, Connor, stick that video up there. See if you guys know what this is.
What the frig is that?
This is what we call...
oh my gosh, it's a heart of a demon.
Right?
What the frig is that?
So this was found by a man in Houston after a heavy rainfall. He went outside and saw this, and he almost was going to stomp on it, be like, what the heck?
Were there a bunch of cultists around it? Summoning
chanting,
Cthulhu?
you know, candles.
Some kind of worm.
So, yeah, this is called the tubifex worm. And they coil together when there's no soil around. So they all come together. And what happens is when one contracts, it stimulates the others to contract almost simultaneously. So it looks like it's throbbing, even though it's a whole bunch, like dozens and dozens of individual worms. But because they've even found them in sewers, I guess quite a few years ago, they found one in a sewer. So if you happen upon a crazy sewer monster like that, just look a little closer.
What do you do with it, though?
A whole bunch of worms.
You just leave them and they fall
Let it go.
apart?
Yeah, eventually they're going to go find their soil and do their thing. But because there was so much heavy rainfall, they had all just kind of come together. I guess, you know, all will survive better than one. So they come together and can you imagine? I wonder if they like move along together or...
It looks like the thing that was put on the plate and Better Off Dead that skirted off. Look at Gwendolyn. Yeah. Can you pay money to go cuddle with it? Oh, like the cowboy.
I wouldn't even...
What the fetch?
Oh, man.
God.
Yeah, can you imagine the bait? That's like tons of bait. Scoop it up with a shovel.
No fish would touch it.
In a pot.
No fish would touch it. You're like, I'm not eating that demon heart.
Oh, that's crazy. All right. What have you got?
What's happening on this planet?
Crazy monsters.
Okay, so you guys all know the ISS, the International Space Station. Look at it in all its glory. Believe it's there or not, that's up to you. We see it float by in the sky every once in a while. Mm-hmm. But members of NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, managed by California Institute of Technology, back in 2015 decided, you know what, let's swab this thing, grab a Q-tip and swab this thing and see what kind of microbes are on here, what survive.
That could be pretty dangerous.
And boy, did they find some, specifically on the toilets and the exercise area.
Oh, man.
But they found 5 different types of Enterobacter, which is a bacteria.
Okay.
Specifically, Enterobacter, here we go, bugandensis. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Whoa.
Bugandensis. But the first 3 words are bug. Bugandensis. So, Now, this bacteria is not from an alien world. It exists on Earth, but now it's up in space. And unfortunately, when they brought it back and tested it, it was resistant to all 9 types of antibiotics they tested against them. I've seen this movie before.
What does it do?
So what they did was they compared it to the strains on Earth of E. bugandensis, and it had a lot in common with it. It had specifically the genes that are associated with antimicrobial resistance and virulence, which is nice. Ugh. So they found that they estimate that there's 79% chance that these will be pathogenic.
Oh, nice.
Or cause illness.
Awesome.
So all the astronauts up there are sweating it out. But it hasn't yet. It's not virulent on the ISS, so that's good. Now, on Earth, this stuff can live about anywhere. It can survive in our gut, and so it can survive up there pretty well. And they typically don't cause illness unless your immune system is already weakened. Like if you are in a hospital and sick, or if you're elderly or newborn. And 3 of the strains up there are infected the same type that have infected newborns on Earth.
Wow.
So, of course, they're nervous about this. In fact, Nitin Singh, who's the lead author of the report, said that these species pose important health considerations for future missions. We have to consider this stuff because astronauts up there, obviously their medical support is limited, and when you're in space, an astronaut's immune system is weakened.
Okay.
So like I said, there's no evidence it's caused disease on the ISS yet. Yeah, sprinkle some of this on your romaine salad while you're at it. But NASA wants to suss out how much of a problem this is actually going to be if conditions in space travel might encourage its growth or might enhance its resistance to antibiotics and stuff like that. So, they're taking this very seriously. And again, it seems like as we tell our stories every week, it seems like a lot of people are concerned with what is it going to take to get us to another planet.
Yeah.
And this is another chapter in that book.
Mm-hmm. How do diseases fare up there, and what happens, and
does it make them stronger? Does it make them,
if they become resistant to what we have, then what do we do? We've got to come up with new stuff. And
I know. Do you feel like this episode is making you creepy crawly? Like this, like I feel like this stuff crawling all over me.
No.
Bugs and
crazy
romaine lettuce and demon hearts. But this is interesting. It's not the first story of bugs in space. In October of 2017, Russian cosmonaut Anton, correct me if I'm wrong, Oksana, Shkaplerov, that can't be right, he swabbed the outside of the ISS, in the Russian side of it, and he found bacteria, he said, that were absent at the launch of the ISS module.
Okay.
So it must be from outer space. Now, some bacteria, like these water bears, you've seen these? They can survive in just about anything. And they could probably survive in space. But he said that they're not harmful. But this is under Russian control. NASA has no information, and they're doubtful. They're like, what? Come on. So, yikes. Okay, I'm going to go take a shower and come back with the next story. That's crazy. But I've got a picture of the bugs. So if you want to see them, here's what they look like up close. Whoa! Just kidding. Here's an actual picture of the scientist actually discovering the bugs. Here you go. Oh! No, that's from Starship Troopers. Actually, this is probably more like what they look like. They're less like bugs and more like bacteria. So
microscopic
demon hearts.
Bugs.
Oh. And no, Gwendolyn, you can't snuggle with these. They're too small. You'll kill it. All right.
Well, I don't know. They're resistant to everything.
Oh, they'll kill you first. We don't know. Oh. Please have a story that's not gross. Go.
Okay. So, how many of you have heard of the StarDust Ranch or the Alien Ranch, as it's known? Okay.
Well, they're not to be confused with Skinwalker Ranch.
Right. Very different.
Right?
So, Skinwalker Ranch, that's in Utah. Right?
Yes.
And so this StarDust Ranch is actually in Buckeye, Arizona. It's about an hour west of Phoenix. Okay? So this man, you can put his picture up for us.
He looks like he's trying to seduce me. What's this? Who's this guy?
This guy.
Who's this smarmy dude?
Is, oh my gosh, I totally had his name and I missed it. Anyway.
This is Guy.
James something. He's, sorry.
This is James.
Or Jim. He put his ranch up for sale. One of those things, Whew. Just
there's so much news.
I lost it. Anyway, he put his house on the market for sale last November. All right, so that's not new news. The house is 5-bedroom, 4-bath. It has a pool, a guest house, and nearly 10 acres.
Oh, I can't afford it already. I know. That's too much house.
It's the home to a horse rescue operation that he has run for 20 years.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes. It is also a place where he claims there are many portals used by aliens to access Earth.
That escalated quickly. We're talking about rescuing horses by a smarmy guy, and now it's portals with aliens.
Portals with aliens on his property. And on Facebook, he prides himself in he's an Earth liaison for aliens.
Okay, wait. So how long has he owned this place, do you know?
Well, the business has been going for 20 years. He's lived there just over 20 years.
So now he's become like a liaison. So now he's like in business with these guys? Like, he has them over for tea and stuff?
Sort
aliens?
of. Sort of.
What's alien tea like?
Things kind of took a turn.
Oh.
Turn for the worst. Apparently, he's been battling with these aliens, so I don't know if he's considering himself a liaison now. That's still what he has on his Facebook page. But he apparently is battling with these aliens, and he has killed 18 plus aliens. But Connor, you can show him this picture. This is on his property. See the lights back there.
Oh, I thought we were looking at all the orbs. Look at all those ghosts.
This is a ship. An alien ship, I guess, on his property.
That kind of looks like a plane landing.
It kind of does.
Okay.
So that's something he had on his page. Okay. And Connor, so this next picture, hang on a second, might be a little graphic for some of you. But he claimed to have killed an alien with his samurai sword.
What?
So that's the picture coming up
next.
This
guy gets cooler by the minute.
Don't see it. Connor, go ahead. Post that up there.
Oh, it's just blood in the sword.
So the thing was, okay, well, where is the body? If you killed it, where's the body? And apparently he said that the other 2 aliens that were there fighting with them dragged the body off.
What kind of liaison kills the people they're a liaison for? But this guy, he started out as smarmy, then he's saving horses, now he's the liaison, and now he's killing them with samurai swords?
Samurai swords.
I don't know.
Yeah, he said that...
it's a little much.
Even with the sharpest sword, you definitely can't take off the head with one whack. It takes more than one whack.
So, but a lot of people say that, abductees, and say, they say that when they get their hands around the neck or whatever, that it feels like cables are in there.
Whoa.
Like Romex cable.
Well, that was, I think, the cherry on top for all of this, is that he finally said, I'm done, when they tried to abduct his wife. So he went out, they levitated his wife out of her bed and, carried her, I guess, levitated her to the parking lot where the beams were coming down and they were going to take her up. He had grabbed his AK-47. Is that what it's called? AK-47?
57?
His
47?
big rifle out there and shot at them, and so he was able to save his wife and she wasn't abducted. But he put his house on the market in November. He told the news all of this.
Who does he think is going to buy his house?
That's what I thought. I'm like, dude, again, like with the ghost paranormal, if you have ghosts in your house, unless they ask, don't say anything. I don't know.
That's crazy. Okay, so I want to go there.
Well, here's the thing: is he
I don't want to
said,
buy it. I just want to go there.
He said if you buy the house, you have to be well grounded because the energy manifests with whatever's going on with you. So I guess there's a lot of energy going on, and he's kind of leaning more towards, I guess, people who are into the alien thing. But since November, he has dropped the price down to $1.4 million
from
$5 million.
Whoa!
Since November,
so no one's going to buy it at $1.4 million because they're going to wait for him to drop it again.
That's a
how it
big,
works.
huge drop.
That's a huge drop.
That's a huge
And I think
drop.
it's smart to cater to the people in the paranormal world because no one else is going to buy it. Like, I'm over like, man, if I had a spare 10 mil, I'd buy it. Yeah, sure, why not? But I don't.
Set up tents outside and let people.
Yeah, come on,
watch
I'd
the
invite
sky.
everybody over. Let's go.
Oh.
So, wow. I don't know. I don't want to buy it.
No.
I just want to visit it.
Yeah. So, if you're up for that and you want to have some alien adventures, you want a chance to use your samurai sword,
Let's start a GoFundMe page.
look it up. You'll see. Oh my goodness.
Then you have to maintain it.
You'll see the link to his realtor.com. You can see pictures and stuff in the description below. Okay.
I love that he killed her with a samurai sword.
Samurai-
And he doesn't take any crap. He's all...
It reminds me of college days, actually.
Wait, what?
Long story, but yes.
Can't-
Samurai swords and craziness, yeah.
Yep, true story. I was there. But anyway,
Yep.
another day. Another story for another day. Well, this is an interesting story here. The police in the Ashanti region of Ghana. You know what Ghana is?
I've heard of it. I don't know where it is.
It's in Africa.
Okay.
Um,
Me and geography don't.
Yep, they arrested 2 key suspects in the murder of this gentleman named Derek A.J.
Okay.
He was like a senior or final year business student, right? And he was just he was there doing his thing, and he snuck off campus to go watch a football or soccer game, as we call it. And a couple of guys came, mugged him, and killed him.
Oh.
One guy beat him up and stole the money, and the other guy killed him. And they took 5 Ghana I don't know how to say the cedis, which is the money, basically five Ghana dollars, and they stole another $2 from a friend. Now, the guy died,
Holy cow.
right?
That's
And
awful.
5 Ghana dollars basically equals $1.01 American. So this guy died, and the guys got away with a total of $1.41, right? So
That's
now, like I said,
awful.
the police have the suspects. The suspects were going to cut and run. They were going to leave the country and go hide. But they turned themselves in.
Okay.
They turned themselves in because they told the police that that the ghost of Derek came back to them and kept haunting them and telling them, what did he say? They said he haunted them and always asked them to report themselves to the police. So he kept bugging them and saying, turn yourself in. And they did.
Interesting.
Now, these are 2 different guys. I mean, if it was one guy, you could say maybe he was going crazy or his guilty conscience was ahead of him. But these 2 guys both had this experience. And enough to turn themselves in for murder.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow.
The cops must have been like, I don't care. Thank you, ghost. We'll take it, you know? I thought that was a fascinating story. And it's not the first story like this. There are lots. I mean, we know about these psychics that open up cold cases and all that.
Right.
But where the ghost itself came and said, and encouraged people to change the course of the case. One of the very first cases actually happened in Rhode Island. It's the case of Rebecca Cornell. You heard this case? In February of 1673 in Portsmouth, Rhode Island, there was the Cornell family. It was actually Rebecca, who was an older woman, and her sons were eating. They were eating dinner, and they were serving, I think, salted mackerel. And she was like, "I don't like that. It dries me out." And so she was. This is the story.
Okay.
So she was in the sitting room, and they were eating, and then the dog came flying out of that sitting room, and they knew something was wrong. So they went in. Her son Thomas went in and thought there was a burned Indian, Native American, in there because he didn't recognize his mom. And he started speaking Indian to her, Native American to her, and he turned over and realized it was his mom. And so, they buried her and all that stuff. And she had died of being burned to death. But a little while later, the ghost of Rebecca appeared to her brother, John. And John Briggs gave a weird testimony. He was sitting in bed, and he felt like somebody was trying to get in bed or moving the covers. So he turned around and saw the ghost of his sister, Rebecca Cornell, and she said twice, what did she say? She said, see how I was burnt with fire. And she kept saying it, and he was just like confused. And so he felt at that time period in the 1600s, when a ghost would appear to someone like that, they felt that there was an injustice that needed to be solved. And so he went and told the story to whoever was in charge, and they took it seriously enough where they went and exhumed her body and found that there was a puncture wound right by her heart.
Okay.
That could have been done by like a darning needle or something like that.
Oh.
So then they start to dig in, and they start to listen to complaints Rebecca had made in the day about Thomas, her son. Now he didn't treat her right and all this stuff. And he was convicted of the murder.
Wow.
Because a ghost came to her brother and said, look twice. Isn't that crazy?
Interesting.
That's cool. And then you have these people that have a ghost appear there in their house, and they run away and hide. You know, look at the great things that can happen if we just don't run away from it. It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
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 Look at that. Justice be served. Interdimensional
Cool.
justice. So that's crazy in Ghana. So
Wow.
Yeah. Hopefully I have that kind of fervor when I'm a ghost. Come back and just guilt people and turn themselves in.
Well, hopefully that,
Hopefully I die quietly myself.
Right. Hopefully you want reason to do that.
Woo!
Wow.
Well, there you go. That's the news for the week. There was much more, but that's I think all we've got time for.
We tried to button it up a little bit.
Thoughts on Robert the Doll? Oh boy, that's another subject for another day. What's weirder than the doll, Robert the Doll, is the people who handle him. I mean, nice people, but they like worship him. It's weird. Okay, all right.
All right. So
it's time for the evidence bag. We got some evidence to pull out of the bag. What do we got?
Some.
All right.
All right. So
show me
this
what you got,
first picture, Connor, if you want to post that up.
Oh, look at that place.
There's this salon in England, and the woman who owns this, her mother had actually passed away 8 years ago from when she came out with this report. 4 years after her mom passed away, she bought this salon, and she found at one point she smelled buttered toast, which is what her mom always smelled like. Now, her mom had passed away 4 years before. So she smelled this buttered toast smell, and she looked in the mirror and saw what she believes was her mother. Connor, you can put the next picture up. In a mirror. So she grabbed her phone quick, and she took this picture. And when she said, "Mommy, is that you?"
Mommy, is that you?
I know.
You smell like buttered toast.
Buttered toast. I'm horrible accents. She said that when she said that, the head turned just what she assumed was the head turned just a little bit. So she believes that this is her mom. And apparently all of her clients that come into the salon believe her, and they all just welcome the mother and are happy that she's there, according to how they feel and what they think. So I thought this would be interesting. I got to get Jack off the couch. He's being a little crazy. Come on, buddy. So I thought this would be a fun way to look at that and see if you had any ideas.
Okay, so bring that second picture up again, Connor. The thing that we have to look at here is, I look at a lot of pictures, and whenever someone is about to hand me a picture, I say, I'm going to shoot it down. Just because a picture is like reading one page out of a book and expecting to know the whole story. Now, does it look like there's a person there? Yes. We have to be aware of pareidolia, which is our mind's ability to make familiar objects out of complex patterns. So the problem with this is we don't know what's there normally. We're looking in the mirror. We have no idea what's there normally. So what we need from her is, it's nice that she supplied another picture of the salon, but the picture was taken from where this thing would be. We need to stand at the mirror and look at what's over there.
If she could take a color picture in the same exact location, then we could start to work with this.
See, this is the thing that people don't think about. If she saw this picture, took a picture of it, like when she went away, you have to have a cool enough head to take a picture again. to show the difference. And that's a technique. You know, people get so scared of this stuff that they don't think right, and then we don't have enough information to know if it really happened or not. So we need two pictures. One of that mirror, that same picture, but normally try to get same angle and everything, same time of day, and then one from the mirror looking into the room so we can see what's there.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah. So I thought that was neat.
So I don't have an answer on that one. We need more information.
The second one, I don't know if you guys saw this. This was in the news this week too, with the California fires, which hopefully everyone is safe.
That foliage sort of dries up.
There
and dies
was
off,
what they called a cigar-shaped.
A great deal of fuel for these fires. The good news is Mark just.
So if you watch this, you'll see up by the clouds what looks like a dark cigar-shaped UFO moving pretty quick. So watch this again.
There's a plane and a helicopter that go into the smoke, and then this thing comes out above where they are going from the right
going
to
to the left of the screen. So go ahead and watch this one more time.
That foliage sort of dries up and dies off, and then that provides a great deal of fuel for these fires. The good news is, as Mark just mentioned, the wind condition not too strong, because that is the fear when you have these sorts of flare-ups, that even though they happen in the uninhabited areas, as we all know by now, the embers fly very quickly, and the fire can move very quickly. The front of the fire itself can move very quickly if it's wind driven. That's not the case here, and it's possible that even though we do have
So do you see that?
Yeah.
Kind of interesting.
So
what do you think about that?
So the thing is, there's a phenomenon. We need to know more about this location, because we're looking, and it almost looks like we're looking up at the mountains, and then there's sky behind it, and that thing's floating through the sky. But there's a phenomenon called Fata Morgana, but I don't know that that's necessarily at play here. But what looks like we're looking up at the mountain in the sky, we could be on a higher mountain looking at the mountain, and that beyond it is water, and there's a ship out there, but it's moving.
It's moving really fast.
Too fast for a ship. So this is called Fata Morgana, which it's the way the light bends. It's reflecting the sky on the water, and it makes it look like stuff is floating above the water, and sometimes it'll even flip it upside down. To me, I'd have to know if we're looking at sky or water. Here's another example of look at that.
Yeah, it totally looks like it's floating.
Like, that's not Photoshop. That's just the sky, the light bending over the water and sending the sky down, and it messes us up. The opposite happens in the desert with the mirage. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
let's watch this one more time.
And make sure we're pointing at the right thing. Can you show that again? Yeah.
Yeah, see if you can do that again.
That foliage sort of dries up and dies off, and then that provides a great deal of fuel for these fires. The good news is, as Mark just mentioned, the wind condition not too strong, because that is the fear when you have these sorts of flare-ups, that even though they happen in the uninhabited area.
Okay, so we're not talking about the little helicopter that comes out. It's the big dash that comes out from the right. It's a little blurry.
It's kind of fuzzy, grayish.
And that's the thing. The resolution of it is so much blurrier than the rest of it. It makes me think it's way past it. And if that's water, not sky, like I said, it could be a boat. But what makes me say it's not a boat is that sucker's got to be cruising at that distance. And boats that big just don't move that fast.
So that's we're not sure about that one, but it was in the news a lot this time. And if there's anyone out there that lives in the area, if they could let us know if that is water on that side. Or
so Samantha's saying it's another aircraft. So we got to be clear. There's a plane and a helicopter that go in, and then there's a helicopter that comes out. There's a bigger thing there, and it can't be a plane. There's no tail or wings to it.
It's just a long, thin thing that kind of flies.
You can barely see it. It's gray.
Yeah.
So it's not. It can't be a helicopter. It just doesn't look like one. And if it's a plane, there's no tail.
Yeah.
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 So I don't know what that thing could be. It's not the little black one. It's the big dash. So.
Yeah. So check that out and give us your thoughts on that.
So again, I'm not sure what it is, but hey, there's a lesson to be learned there with the whole. Sometimes the sky looks like water, and sometimes it's the other way around. So
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
So there you go.
Getting hungry for some
What's
tots.
it time for?
Time for tots.
Time for tots.
Get some ketchup out. Ooh. Tot it up. Okay, before we get into the last week's tot, we're going to talk about... We got some cool comments this week that we want to share. The first one is from the Conchel. The Conchel.
Hopefully we're saying that right.
And that person says, because I assumed gender before and didn't go well. Hey guys, it was great you prepared the show ahead of time. This was in respect to last week's episode.
Yep.
The kitchen warriors like myself are in the trenches right now, trying to manage this traditional meal so that it all goes smoothly tomorrow. And we need a break. This was a delight to get to watch while we get our second win. In gratitude, I'll be serving tots as the potato portion of the meal. Happy Thanksgiving. All right.
That was awesome.
How'd that go? Did you put gravy on the tots? A little poutine style? No? Okay.
That's awesome.
Next one comes from Lori Kendrick. She says.
So this is about the graveyard lights.
Right. Last week we talked about in the evidence bag the pictures of the lights in the graveyards, and I mentioned reflective surfaces, but she makes a good point.
So she was saying more and more people put small lights that look like candles on the stones, and they're solar powered. When you go past a local cemetery, there are all kinds of lights shining at night. It's a bit strange to see. So I wonder if maybe it could have been that, and the candles were just small enough that maybe while they were there, they weren't noticeable as much, but the camera picked it up just right.
Yeah,
maybe.
but that's a good arrow to have in your quiver when you're investigating. Keep that stuff in mind. These little solar powered lights, and they get super, super, super dim as the night goes on, as they run out of energy before they just crap out. So, thank you for that. It's a good tidbit. Yes. I'm not sure that that's what it was. We don't know, but certainly something to look for.
Yeah.
All right, one more comment from Liz Bradley. And she says, Rihanna, years ago, my friend referred to the defroster in the car as the fogger de goner. This is, and I've called it that ever since. I'm now adding heat seaters to my vocabulary.
Okay.
Let's get it in the dictionary, guys. Heat seaters.
And there was one other person that commented and said they called them heat seaters too. So I guess I'm not the only one, which is good.
Look at this. The Conchel's here with us. She says
the tots stood on their own. No gravy.
But Grady with turkey and cranberry.
I bet.
sauce.
You get that little bit of crispiness in there.
Next year, man.
We should try that.
Next year. Because if there's one thing I'm thankful for, it's tots. Okay.
Awesome.
Now it's time to get to the tot. The last week's question was what?
It was, what message would you send into space? If you could send a message in there, what would you send?
Yeah, because a lot of people are sending crap out into space.
All kinds of stuff. And
we got some great responses. First one is from Wendy Williams. She says, a message to outer space, come for the scenery, stay for the food. Earth is beautiful and full of tasty treats. Non-human treats, of course.
Serve humans. We talked about that before. I love
That's
that.
Awesome.
Twilight Zone
Good call.
Okay, and the next one is from Deanna Devney. She says, I would seriously...
First, Rihanna, I say
she's
heat-seaters.
Heat seaters, too. I would seriously put into space a message for aliens to not visit us, though I believe they already are here. That's what I'm guessing she's saying. Because
they already are visiting us.
Well, right. Because I don't trust our government, especially this particular administration and Trump's Space Force idea.
She put dumps and dumped Space Force. President Dump.
I think our government would go into fear mode and attack.
Yeah.
That is, unless our government is already working with aliens on things. But again, I feel if they are, it would be for items for war, aircrafts, weaponry, etc., for war with other countries. So I'd put up a big U-turn sign. U-turn here sign.
Send them to Venus or something.
And then it was Cthulhu alien, Cthulhu alien. Yeah.
So, no, that's a valid point. Like, I think that if they visited here, obviously the government interest is what can we get out of it. What can we get out of it? Not intelligence and I think the aliens probably back in Roswell times probably figured that out, and they're like, you know what? Here's a ship. We're out of here.
Yeah. See ya.
Who knows? The next one is from Indy Pindy. Are you a dentist? Let's be independent together.
I love it.
Message to send to outer space. Awesome. If you visit Earth, make sure to check out What the Fetch Weekly. There you go.
All right.
I think it's Well, it's the internet. I don't know that's really transmitting out to space.
They're far beyond this, but they can just like do you remember that show, Explorers?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're up there clicking through our channels and stuff.
Right, but that's TV, which was transmitted through the air.
But they're far more advanced, so clearly they can get the internet.
Maybe if you're watching this on satellite internet. Maybe that's a secret.
All right, the next one is from Henry Lutz. And he says, my comment to the universe, buy good shoes and a good bed, because if you're not in one, you're in the other.
What the heck? This guy's never heard of slippers, apparently.
Both are comfy.
Yeah, my grandfather told me, find a good pair of shoes and buy like 10 pair, and then you'll never have to worry about it again.
You do that, so not 10 pair, but you'll buy a couple pair of the same shoe.
Yeah, because I walk a lot.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
That's good. That's a crazy thing to send up there. All right, and of course, LJ Master Noob, you got to get the award for the most used comments. I would just send a Nightmare King into space. Oh, hostile intent. That should scare away any potential invaders, and maybe they'll have second thoughts about probing people. That goes so well with your story.
Right?
Oh my gosh. That's great.
What do these people eat here?
We launch a few preemptive Nightmare Kings into space just in case they happen upon one. And then we can put the U-turn sign here and have it go right to where all the Nightmare Kings are. Done.
They'll never come here.
That's a brilliant plan. The government would never think of that.
And the last one is by Mary Leanne Muncie.
Mary, what you got? The message I would throw into space would be first, I'd send out some of your music. Oh, my music.
There you go.
To put them to sleep.
To relax them so that all is well.
I've even had doctors play this while I was in surgery. Really?
Wow.
Holy cow. I get a lot of stuff like that. People say they use it in their dojos or they help cope with death.
Well, it's good music.
People play them in like preschool to put the kids to sleep.
Aww.
This is crazy. I'm so glad I was able to help there, Mary. However, I'd really want someone in space to know about the people here because there are some great people on Earth. Finally. I agree. Not everyone. I would send up some YouTube videos of people doing some random acts of kindness. It would have the note attached, please don't judge us all on how well we swim or climb a tree. Instead, measure us on how big our hearts are. Some are bigger than others, and you can see it without fancy equipment. Watch their lives.
Awesome.
That's a beautiful message.
Awesome.
So I was thinking of my answer.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost put one like that. Like, please don't judge us as a whole. Judge us as individuals. I almost put that. But Mary stole my thunder. But I have a better one. Do you know what you had said?
Mine's super simple, but kind of complicated.
Okay.
What's yours? Do you want me to go?
Mine
first?
would be a big message that just says, teach us peace. And the reason I say that is because the message itself clearly says we don't know how to be peaceful. So watch out. Right? So if they're hostile, we're going to be like, you know?
Yeah.
But if they're nice, they'll realize that we're willing to learn to be better.
Awesome.
I think with 3 words, it sends a pretty clear signal.
I like that.
Thank you very much. I'm going to make a t-shirt. Teach us peace. What the fetch?
Mine was, we want to know you. But the complicated part is, like, I want them to, again, like, look at us as a whole. Not, like, when they're going straight.
I don't want them to look at us as a whole.
Well, but as a whole, we're good, I think. I think people are good.
Josh says, send some tots with a note that says enjoy.
Enjoy.
Well, why would we
With
eject
ketchup.
tots into space?
When you can eat
them here. Make them come and get them.
But I feel like...
Sorry.
I feel like, you know, when it comes to... Like, it shouldn't be just the government that gets to deal with them. Do you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, I feel like it should be all of us. Like, we become a world, an earth, not, okay, we're going to talk to your leader, take me to your leader. Like, you know, I don't always agree with what my leaders have to say.
Well, if an alien landed in my backyard and said, take me to your leader, I wouldn't take him to Trump. Like, I mean, he's the leader of our country, but...
That would be a tough...
I mean, who would your leader be?
Yeah.
Who would it really be? I don't know.
That's a tricky one. But that's what I mean. That's the simple but complicated.
All right, the voice...
But we want to know you.
That's good. Yeah, right. Like, don't be afraid. Hang on. Have patience. We want to know you. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Teach us peace. We want to know you.
Yeah.
And the voice from beyond, Connor.
Oh, boy. I'd probably
The eternal wisdom.
I'd probably send out the Hitchhiker's Guide thing, Don't Panic.
Don't panic.
Nice.
And a towel, right? Embroidered on a towel. Don't panic. Okay. For all fans of Hitchhiker's Guide, you'll know what we're talking about. The rest of you, sorry. So great answers, guys. We love getting to know more about you. We love these things.
Yes.
And to just show off how smart and clever you guys are, because you guys are the best. You guys are the best.
We love it.
Ah, guys. So the tot of the week. What are we serving up this week? If money were no object, this is tying into the whole StarDust Ranch. If money were no object, what's the weirdest thing you would buy?
Yep. Would you buy the alien ranch? Would you buy a mountain? Would you buy
Don't give your answers.
all the tater tots in the world? I'm just
Well, guys,
All
that's
right.
about as weird as it's going to get this week. We appreciate the support. Remember, if you have stuff for the evidence bag, please send it to us. Send it to our email address, WhatTheFetchWeekly@gmail.com. If you have stuff you want to send us, stuff you want us to see, that's always nice.
Same thing. I did the same thing last week.
There's our post office box and our email address. Go ahead and send us evidence you want checked out in the evidence bag. And guys, a lot of people are sending us news they want to see. So, hey, if you send us a news story and we use it, we'll absolutely credit you.
Yes.
And thank you upside one side and down the other, because it's a lot of work. So if you have a story you want to see us talk about, go ahead and send it to WhatTheFetchWeekly.com, at gmail.com. And, stuff you want to send us, send it to the post box. But as long as it doesn't tick or explode or spread anthrax, we'll be good. We'll be good.
It'll be good. And no bugs. No bugs.
So, guys, please, if you like the show, spread the word. The better the show does, the more we can do with it.
Yes.
And there's a lot more going to be coming to the channel starting next year. So we're working on some crazy stuff. And
We're
the more
finally,
support we have, the easier it is to do.
Yeah, we're finally at the end of our crazy time. Like, fall is kind of like Santa at Christmas for us.
Yes, we're everywhere.
It's very crazy. But we're getting to a point, we've got a lot of awesome stuff planned for next year. And like he said, if we've got support and likes and shares and all that stuff, we can do so much more. So please subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Hit that notification bell so you know when we have a new episode.
Yeah, because, to catch What the Fetch Weekly every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. But there's other stuff that'll be popping up on the channel, and that's not scheduled. So
yes,
you want to make sure you know when it's coming. And we appreciate the support, guys.
Okay.
Thanks for stopping by.
Guys,
Stay
stay weird.
weird.